An aircraft plummets into Mosquito Lagoon and dumps a large amount of toxic chemicals in the process, jeopardizing everybody in the area. Don't worry, it was just a practice simulation to keep first responders ready, as disasters can happen at any time. Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. That scenario was simulated a full-scale exercise recently held by Volusia County's Emergency Management Division and the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council. On today's show, we'll bring you some of the highlights of this important practice. And many residents welcome the chance to sleep in an extra hour as standard time resumes November 2nd. And with that extra hour comes some reminders. And with the election coming up, we want you to know about some transportation options that can help you get to the polls on the big day. And last but not least, Community Information Director Dave Byron will be joined in the studio by the Executive Director of the Volusia County Fair, David Viers. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. What would happen if an aircraft crashed into Mosquito Lagoon and dumped toxic chemicals in a populated area? Well, that's what emergency responders simulated and studied recently during a full-scale exercise at the Canaveral National Seashore Park. Nearly 100 emergency responders from local, state, and federal agencies took part of the full-scale exercise, which was coordinated by Volusia County's Emergency Management and the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council. Participants included the National Park Service, United States Fish and Wildlife Service, U.S. Coast Guard, Civil Air Patrol, Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, Florida Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 4, the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Volusia Mosquito Control, and firefighters from the county and New Smyrna Beach. Students from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University gave a helping hand by posing as victims. While Fire Services hazmat and technical rescue teams focused on locating the pilot, the USAR task force located injured or contaminated people in the park.
The primary reason we're conducting the exercise is to see to it that if something happened to a pilot, we can get to that individual. We can rescue him and get him out to safety. From that, we've expanded to include elements such as hazardous material and the all-important, can we communicate with each other? Do we have the capability of talking to each other's channels? Do we know how to find each other on the radio? Do we share certain common communication styles? Are we talking in different languages on the radio? Some people using codes and other people open communication, resolving all those issues.
The exercise had land, air, and water components. Boats and helicopters from multiple agencies participated in the search and rescue along with ground crews. The purpose of the exercise was to train personnel and evaluate their actions and capabilities during a multi-agency response to a downed aircraft and hazmat incident. It was part of the county's ongoing efforts to train first responders and ensure coordinated response to small and large-scale disasters. That old saying, spring forward and fall back, is a reminder to turn clocks ahead in the spring and back in the fall. This year, standard time resumes November 2nd. This also is the day when Volusia County's lawn watering schedule changes. Residents may water their lawns once a week until daylight saving time resumes March 8th.
The rainfall that we got this last summer will not affect what our aquifer looks like this fall or the needs of the landscape. People are restricted to 1 day of watering per week during daylight savings time, and that's during the cooler parts of the month. And it's just a common sense rule in that you don't want to irrigate more than once per week. In fact, you can cause harm to your landscape by irrigating too much. You can add to thatch buildup in your lawn if you irrigate too much. You can encourage dollarweed and sedges to grow in your lawn, which you don't want. Overwatering also causes shallow root zones, which makes your lawn more susceptible to diseases.
More than half of residential water is used on lawns. Watering restrictions are in place to ensure that water used for irrigation is used efficiently. People who live at odd-numbered addresses may water Saturdays, and people at even-numbered addresses may water on Sundays. Businesses may irrigate on Tuesdays. Each zone of an irrigation system may be watered for no more than 1 hour or 3/4 of an inch a day. Watering is not permitted between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. The restrictions apply to all county residents, including those living in city limits. They also apply to all water sources, including private wells and pumps. Unincorporated residents who violate the water conservation ordinance may be fined up to $500. The time change also is a reminder to change the batteries in our smoke alarms. Smoke alarms can save lives if they're functioning properly, but studies show that most smoke alarms don't work because of missing, dead, or disconnected batteries. According to the National Fire Protection Association, 2/3 of home fire deaths occur in homes without a working smoke alarm.
Your smoke alarm, when it's working, is going to notify you of any problem with smoke or fire in your home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's a great emergency notification tool that could save you and your family's life. Assistance can be made for the checking or the inspection or the replacement of batteries for those people that need assistance. All they need to do is contact Volusia County Fire Services for the unincorporated area, and we'll get somebody out there that'll be able to assist them with that. In addition, Volusia County Fire Services also offers a smoke alarm program that we make available to the people that need these devices, and we will actually assist with the installation of those devices. And they can access that information through volusia.org.
Residents are encouraged to contact their local fire department for smoke alarm information. To learn more about water conservation and fire prevention, you can visit volusia.org. Getting to the general election polling sites November 4th is a little easier for Volusia County voters. Votran and the Volusia County Elections Office are partnering to offer free rides to the polls for registered voters.
We have a long-term partnership with Votran. The Department of Elections and Votran got together about 10 years ago to come up with Ride for Free with your voter ID, which means you can go to your precinct, you can get on Votran bus, show your voter ID, and they will take you to your precinct. Or they will take you to any early voting site and bring you back, and it doesn't cost anything. So there is absolutely no reason why someone can't get out and vote.
The Ride Free with Your Voter ID program is also available to residents registered with Votran's Gold Service. Gold Service users must schedule their trip a day in advance. Gold Service is available to persons who, because of physical or mental disability or age, or are unable to transport themselves and cannot use the fixed route bus service. For information, please contact Votran Customer Services at 386-761-7700 in Daytona Beach, 386-424-6800 in New Smyrna Beach, or 386-943-7033 in West Volusia. You can visit Votran on the web at votran.org. The website also provides up-to-date alerts, real-time bus tracking, and downloadable information for the MyStop mobile app for real-time bus information anywhere.
I'm Volusia County Chair Jason Davis. The University of Central Florida is running a very successful business incubator at Daytona Beach International Airport in partnership with Volusia County. The UCF Business Incubation Program is a collaboration and economic development between UCF and the Florida High-Tech Corridor Council, which links startup companies with experienced professionals and provides access to educational programs that lead them to business success. The goal of the incubation program is to offer a supportive environment to inspire the entrepreneurial spirit, accelerate business growth, and create local employment opportunities. For more information, visit www.incubator.ucf.edu.
A local food manufacturer may soon become a household name thanks to some special recipe bread and a new business model. Reporter Joanne Magley has more in this week's Business Beat.
Alfredo Avila and his wife have owned the DeLand Bakery and Natural Market since 1998. They did a nearly $2 million renovation in 2010, which tripled its space, and they added a deli. The market sells many of the traditional natural foods and products you see at other stores, but what really makes this market different is the bakery, which produces natural, certified organic, gluten-free, and kosher breads and baked goods.
Some visitors from other states come to DeLand and see the bread, and they start asking for the product, and he starts sending out of the state. We are doing now 29 states from here to California.
DeLand Bakery and Natural Market recently signed a nationwide distribution contract with Kehi Distributors, the nation's largest privately owned wholesale distributor in the health and natural food products industry. Before the distribution contract, workers were baking 5,000 loaves of bread a day. Now, they're baking up to 7,500 loaves a day, and that number is expected to rise. Partnering with a large distribution company was one of the recommendations Avila received from the UCF Business Incubator at Daytona Beach International Airport, where he's been a client for the past 2 years.
With the incubator, we saw the opportunity change the way that we were sending the bread direct to the customer.
The bakery had been baking and shipping most of its fresh items to order and adjusting work schedules to meet demand. The Kehi contract will allow the company to go from baking 3 days a week to 5 days a week. The market employs 60 people and is set to hire up to 40 more in the next 2 years. And while business is booming, Avila says there's much more to his family-run business.
The more important for us is our people that come through the door, our people that work for us, our people that are the customers that we serve them, that we serve with the right product at the right time, the best that we can do for them. We are here as a family. My wife and my 3 kids, they are part of the business. And my employee here is part of my family, and my customers are part of my family.
For the Business Beat, I'm Joanne Magley.
And now let's join urban and residential horticulturalist Joe Sewards for some information about Florida-friendly landscaping.
Welcome to Horticulture Today. I'm Joe Sewards. November 1st, our time changes back. We fall back 1 hour. That means to our eyes, the days will be shorter by 1 hour. It'll get dark sooner, but to plants, it makes no difference. However, shorter days, cooler temperatures are a signal to plants that it's time to go dormant, and we need to be mindful of that as we prepare to care for our landscapes and lawns going into the fall and the winter months. So as temperatures cool, grass won't be growing as much. Plants will go dormant. They'll need less water, less fertilizer, and water restrictions are being reduced. In other words, as of November 1st, we'll only be allowed to water once per week. That's per Water Management District rules. That doesn't mean that you have to water once a week. You still need to pay attention to rainfall, how hot it's been, and whether your plants are really dormant or not. Grass does go dormant in the winter, so after about December 15th, you probably won't need to water your turf at all, or your landscape plants for that matter, especially if they're well established. That's going to save you a lot of water, it's going to save you money. More importantly, it's going to be better for your plants. So remember, landscape plants will be dormant just like your turf will. That's a good time to do any kind of corrective pruning. You will be able to identify limbs that need to be pruned more easily since the plants won't have any leaves. But the main thing is, don't fertilize, don't water as much in the wintertime. So remember, plants need to be dormant in the winter, and we need to be mindful of that so that we don't overwater and over-fertilize them and try to keep them green when they shouldn't be in the wintertime. For Horticulture Today, I'm Joe Sewards. Feel free to call us at the University of Florida Volusia County Extension Office, or you can visit our website as well. The phone number is area code 386-822-5778, or you can go to volusia.org/extension.
Time now to head into the studio to join our very own Community Information Director, Dave Byron, as he's joined in the studio by the Executive Director of the Volusia County Fair, David Viers.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. The Volusia County Fair and Youth Show is an annual tradition in Volusia County that goes back to the early 1900s. The annual Volusia County Fair today has become one of the premier county fairs in the entire Southeast. This year's Volusia County Fair is right around the corner, so it's a good time to check in with the Volusia County Fair Executive Director, David Viers. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Hey, I know you're busy.
I'm very busy right now trying to get everything set up.
So let's get right to the important part. What's the date of this year's fairs?
November 6th through 16th.
And that's for 10 days every year, right?
11 days every year.
11 days every year. Dave, give us a little history of the Volusia County Fair. I mean, I said it's a tradition that goes back to the early 1900s, and that's absolutely the case.
Well, yeah, the first fair was held back in 1924 at the old fairgrounds west of the train depot, west of DeLand. And
it's where the Sunrail station is going to be.
Right where the Sunrail station will be. And was held out there until 1939 when it was disbanded because of World War II. Mm-hmm. It was restarted in 1954 and ran through 1959 at the airport and at the National Guard Armory. And then kind of ran out of space for a home, was restarted in 1966 where the YMCA is at now, and moved to the present location in 1968 and has been running there ever since.
When you think of the complex that you're at now over there on State Road 44, just on the east side of I-4, how big is that piece of property out there?
Well, the original that was given for that, for the Ag Center and the fairgrounds, was 20 acres. There's over 120 acres now.
And if you look at that whole complex, there's multiple owners, right?
There's 4 different owners: the Fair Association, the county, the cattlemen, and the Farm Bureau.
So with the amount of improvements and the things that you make every year out there, I don't imagine you're going to be moving anytime soon, huh?
I don't think so. We enjoy it there. It's a good location for everybody to be able to get off of I-4 and 44, and I think that the people that found that location did an excellent job doing that.
Dave, you know, you guys are pretty proud of the fact that you get rated pretty high every year as being one of the better fairs in all of the Southeast. How do you do it? I mean,
well, we aim to make it a very family-oriented, safe fair for everybody. When you come, you see security there. We try to keep everything as clean as we can keep it. I have people that just walk around sweeping the grounds, emptying the garbage so there's no overfill, and that's what makes it very good. We're in the process of updating a lot of our signage so that you'll be able to see where stuff is at a lot easier. We've made some changes with the small animal barn going into the Touton building. We've added an addition to the side of it where Horticultural Hall will move into, and all of that will have new signage to help you. But that's what helps us stay where we're at, is the fact of being very family-oriented, safe, and as clean as we can possibly keep it.
Now, Dave, yourself, you're a professional fair executive director. Been doing it for what?
This is my 24th year and 25th fair as the executive director.
Wow. And you have a staff that works year-round, but predominantly this is a bunch of volunteers.
Most of it, we have usually somewhere around 400 volunteers during the fair that help put on. There's a board of directors of up to 30 directors that meet once a month during the year to set all of the policies and things that we do for the fair. And I have a staff of, including myself, 7 people that work year-round to keep our areas clean and put on the events we have in our buildings down there.
Well, right now you're probably working darn near day around, huh?
We're 7 days a week until the week after the fair.
How many people in a good year do you run through the gates out there, Dave?
Last year, because of the rain on the last Friday and Saturday, we dropped to 178,000. And if we have a good year, like we were last year up until that rain, I'm predicting we should go over 200,000.
Wow. And that's the key, though, isn't it, the weather?
Weather controls what you do all the time.
So, all right, so you've got a board of directors, you've got a small paid staff and so forth. You know, what happens to all the money that you take in? I mean, is that, do you make a profit, or what happens there?
We make a profit each year, but that money is put back into the account to keep the buildings running and also to get us to the next year's fair.
Sure.
And we still did good enough last year that we were able to add on Horticultural Hall and pay for it. but it does take a lot of money to go from one year to another.
You know, we refer to it as the county fair, and of course this is the county television program. The county's been a big supporter of the Volusia County Fair, continues to do so. But really, you don't operate with any county money, correct?
No, we are a nonprofit association formed under Florida Statute 616, which gives us permission to use the word incorporated and also how we must run the fair to meet the requirements of the state. We are recognized as nonprofit by the federal government, but as far as the county, other than the buildings that they built at one time for us there that we manage for them, we receive no money from the county.
Let's talk about the kids, because really the fair really is family oriented with a lot of emphasis on the kids. Good family fun to go out there. The kids themselves play an important part, particularly when it comes to that livestock portion, correct?
Yes, the fair is formed on youth.
Right.
You always say it's Volusia County Fair and Youth Show, and the reason for that is we want to showcase the youth of the county and show the good that the youth of our county can do. They're only allowed to enter in certain areas, which is the livestock that they can enter. And if you come, you see the jobs these kids do of raising an animal, keeping animals like they should be. They have to go through an ethics course before they can show at the fair. And then when they go up in the front and show in those areas, it's the same thing. It's mostly youth that show, but we do allow adults to show in those other areas.
I know you yourself have had your kids that have shown animals at the fair, so you know firsthand what it's like to watch one of your own, you know, raise an animal, and then they bring it to the fair, they show it, and maybe win a ribbon, and in some of those cases, they actually auction those animals.
They auction off. I had 3 kids that went through it, and I actually have this year 5 grandkids showing.
Wow,
so,
unbelievable.
It's continued on through the life.
What kind of emotion goes through a youngster when, let's say, they've raised the steer? They become attached to that
They
animal.
get very attached to them. I'll take my oldest daughter when her first pig that she had and it sold. I made the mistake and went to her and said, think about the money that you've made and that you've learned the life part of what you're doing on this of raising an animal, and it was kind of the wrong thing to say because she started crying worse than she was.
But really it is a great lesson in life, isn't it?
It is. It's a very good lesson. It takes them from buying the animal through raising the animal and what it takes to raise that animal to the part of selling it, like what you would do in regular life or going to market. So.
Right. Now let's talk about the adults. Let's not leave the adults out, because it's still a great opportunity for people to showcase things that they cook or things that they sew or that sort of thing.
When you get up into the Hester building, we have the creative arts, the baked food, canning, and all of that up there, and it's a chance for them to enter. And we have, I don't know the official entries as of yet, but when I left, she was still working on trying to get all that entered.
Dave, obviously one of the big attractions of the county fair is the Midway, and you have Degler attractions, I guess, coming back to provide the rides. Let's talk a little bit about safety, because you're pretty proud of the fact that you have a very high quality Midway. This company is a high quality company, and there's an inspection process.
There's an inspection they must go through, and we're very proud of the fact of having Deglers. They have one of the safest ride in the United States. When those rides do come in, the state of Florida is there to inspect them as they go up, and they must pass that inspection before they are able to operate. If there's something they cannot pass, there's a red tag put on that ride, and that ride cannot operate until it passes the inspection they have to go through. And in the years that we've had them since 1999, there's been one ride, and that was because the motor was failing and would not work.
I mean, obviously, you know, you have a vested interest in making sure that all those rides are safe. And, you know, you and I were talking before we started taping here, and you say really you have a very high degree of confidence that the rides out there are put together properly, and the state does a good job and a thorough job, I guess, in inspecting them.
The state does an excellent job, and I'm very proud of the fact that they will come to me and tell me what's going on and what rides have had any little problem and what was fixed, and you know, they keep me informed the whole time they're there.
All right, so one of the other highlights of the fair is you crown a fair queen every year.
First night of the fair, we do Miss Volusia County Fair. The last I knew, we had 11 girls entered this year. And last year's queen will be back to crown the new one on opening night.
Wow, and that's a big accomplishment for the young ladies that
Very
enter that. And again, it's the emphasis is on wholesomeness.
On wholesomeness, we do not do it as a beauty contest. It's done as a queen type, and there's certain questions they have to answer and poise, and that's what they're judged on.
Sure. Dave, we mentioned the auction. It's a good opportunity for people to go out there and see the animals that are auctioned, and people can bid on them, and that money goes to the kids that raise those animals. And so that's one of the highlights of the fair as well, the auction.
November 13th at 6 o'clock we start our auction, and that's where you can buy one of the animals, and it does usually go above market price to the kids, but it's a reward back to that kid for the project they've done. All the animals that are auctioned must go to slaughter. They cannot go back home.
Right.
That's a state of Florida rule, and we have to abide by that. But it's a good experience for them, and they do get quite a bit of money out of it.
Well, for doing this for 25 years, you've gotten pretty good, I think, at being able to pick out entertainment. And you've had some pretty big name acts. I think you and I have talked in the past, and you said you like to catch them on the way up, right?
We try to catch them on the way up, and I think this year we've done that. On November the 8th, 8th, we have Palmer Lee coming in. They just had a song, Carolina, that was up on the charts, and I think right now they're in the top 15 with another single. And then on the last Saturday, on the 15th, we have Cole Swindell coming in, and he's had a #1, and the song he has right now is #1 single.
Wow.
And for Seniors Day, we have Paul Revere's Raiders coming in.
That's a throwback.
And Mitch Ryder will be with them.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Dave, what's the story about tickets and information and that sort of thing?
Tickets are on sale right now at Walgreens. You can buy those at a discount, plus your ride bracelets at a discount. It depends on when you use them as to what amount of money you save. And the times, depends on that day. Weekends we open at 11 along with Senior Day, and the other ones we open at 4 o'clock.
And got lots of, besides the musical entertainment, you got lots of stuff out on the Midway. I've always enjoyed the Midway shows as much as anything.
We have quite a few grounds acts that we have brought in. Dennis Lee will be back this year along with Josh Knotts, who is the magician, the illusionist, Can Do, and I can't remember all of them really.
Yeah.
The only one will not be back this year is Rocket. We get him every other year with an agreement with the Louisiana State Fair.
And how about that female fiddle player? She comes.
She will be back.
Can't remember her name, but I watched her play.
Sally Ann.
Yeah, she's doing really great. Well, Dave, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us. The Volusia County Fair is certainly an annual tradition in our county, and you guys do a great job, you and your board. So good luck this year.
Thank you.
Our guest today, Dave Viers, he's the Executive Director of the Volusia County Fair and Youth Show. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.